Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Selena, and this is You Plus Happy. Each week, I bring you someone who challenges us to define success and happiness on our own terms with a dose of laughter. Remember to like and subscribe to the You Plus Happy podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram at You Plus Happy. This week, we have Jordan Bryant, who is an Indianapolis native, a dancer who has danced for Keith Sweat, Ciara, and Shaquille O'Neal, just to name a few. Welcome to the show. Yay. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
Yay. All right. So we'll just jump right in. How did you get started as a dancer?
So I grew up liking dance, like watching it, like I watched all the dance shows and stuff and like music videos as a kid, but I didn't really like training it or do any of that as a kid. I was more like sports focused. It wasn't until I was 13 in middle school, and my friend who was a freestyler at the time, he was a dancer, he had joined the school's dance program, and like he was telling me like, oh bro, you should just come and like watch, and like it's really cool, whatever. So I just came with him one day, I sat and I watched, and I was just like, I wonder if I could try that. And so I got up and tried and been dancing ever since.
Yeah. So. When you say the shows with dancing, what shows? Like Soul Train?
No. Soul Train, yes. I don't want to say my age, but yeah. Be like Soul Train, America's Best Dance Crew, So You Think You Can Dance, or like music videos like 106 in Park, all of that. I love like music videos as a kid. I love like dance competition shows as a kid. Like I loved all of that. So
yeah.
But yeah, just I never like participated in it as a kid. Like I didn't grow up training in dance and things. That wasn't until like say 13, like teenager.
Right. I have to tell you, they make it look easy on TV, right? And
course.
I wanted to be a dancer, right? So I started Zumba at the local LA Fitness, and I was like, I'm killing this Zumba stuff. So I was living in LA at the time, so I found this dance studio. It was Debbie Reynolds. That's it, Debbie. I went to her studio and tried to start hip hop dancing. No. It was immediately. It was completely different than Zumba. It was so embarrassing. And in dance classes they teach you the steps, and then they break you up in groups at the end, and you do it in your group. I sat out because I was like, I couldn't. I was like, 1, wait, 2. I can't do an 8 count for nothing. Zumba's not 8 count. It's more like
follow the leader.
Yeah. But as soon as you start giving me counts, I don't know what it is.
Hey, we all have had our embarrassing moments.
So I stood there to say, shout out to the dancers, and they make it look so easy. And I'm not saying just because I couldn't do it, nobody else can, but. It was very embarrassing. I was like, I'm about to go on tour. I'm about to do all this. You can go on tour to your house, ma'am, because you're not doing anything.
Tour the house.
But before you started dancing, what did you want to do? You said you were in sports.
Yeah, I was in sports, and I'm from Indiana, so basketball is religion there. So little me, I was just determined to go to the Indiana, no matter what. But yeah, even when I take that back, because even when dance came in the picture as a kid, it was still this is just something for fun, because all the way ain't no dance anything in the Midwest. We don't have any type of entertainment industry up there. There's no there was nobody coming back teaching us this is what you do, this is how you make it as a professional dancer, this is how you conduct yourself in a rehearsal or an audition. Nobody was teaching that. So for me and my peers, we was just dancing for fun. It wasn't, the goal to be professional was never an option because we didn't know anything about that. So yeah, even at 13 when I started, it was still this is just something for fun. This is just something I'm doing, as a extracurricular activity. It wasn't until I got in college, and that's when I started learning technique in dance. I started learning ballet and jazz and modern and all of that. Because before that, it was just hip hop. But then when I decided to further dance, in college, and I learned. That's where I learned about the industry of dance and different careers and things you could go to in dance. So once I learned about that, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, like this is what I want to do.
Yeah, but you weren't thinking about it in a professional sense even before college?
No, I just like I had no idea because this was like the early days of like Instagram and social media and stuff. So like, I feel like now like kids have it to where they can like look on social media and see like, or get some idea of how like the dance industry works and all that. Whereas like me growing up, like we didn't.
So what made you go to school for it?
Because the school I went to, because I was a broadcast major at first, and the program that I was in, you had to have a minor, and I'm like, right. So I'm like, I really don't want a minor, but I'm like, if I'm gonna have one, I'm gonna do something like I'm gonna have fun with it, because I'm like, it's a minor.
Right.
Like, a job's not gonna be like, what did you minor in college? Right. So I'm like, I'm about to have something fun, you know.
So wait, when you took when you went for broadcasting, what was your goal then?
So the goal was to be like a sports broadcaster.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I wanted to like be on ESPN or like on the field of like a halftime, like reporting. Like that's originally because I love sports. Like that's probably like my second favorite thing in the world besides dance or art, I should say. But yeah, like that's originally what I wanted to do. But yeah, life had other things.
I know. I've been thinking about Destiny a lot lately, and that sounds like Destiny because it was like you were already dancing, and then but you weren't going to go to school for it. You weren't taking it seriously, and then the school was like, you have to take a minor. And you're like, well, I like dancing, so I'm gonna do it. And now I want a minor in dancing, and then now you do it professionally. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like some things are just meant to be. You can't get around it. Like you know, it's like it's chasing you, right?
I mean, look, I'm telling you, like when I say we had nobody, like we were training, going to like master class, like doing all this for the fun of it. Like it was like that's what makes me feel like no, like this wasn't meant to be. Considering like where I came from, like the fact that I had like access to nothing about the dance world and like how I ended up here, like it's just to me that's like like it had. There's no other way. It had to be destiny.
Right. And you took those opportunities when they came your way. What industry? What is Indianapolis known for?
Farming?
Okay. I mean, no. I don't know how to answer that question either from my hometown, so I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I could have just Googled it.
I mean, no, like it's really like farming and sports. Like that's the Midwest. Like if you want a career in sports, you want to get into sports, whether that be like professional or college or something like race cars. Like really, that's what Indianapolis is known for. Like NASCAR, race cars.
Oh,
like
really?
That. Yeah. So that's what I grew up around.
Yeah.
So yeah, dance, arts, entertainment is
it diverse?
Yes, but not like in Atlanta diverse.
Right.
Like not like in Atlanta diverse. There's more diversity than you would expect, but not like here, like not like down south.
Right. Or like a major city, right? Isn't it?
It is a major city. Right. Like it's a major city, but it feels like a small town. But it is. We are technically like I think the 16th largest city in the country.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, yeah, you feel like you're in a small town. Like,
yeah.
There ain't much to do.
Okay. Do you go back often?
For holidays, yeah. But not like frequently. I mean, I said when I came to Atlanta, like this is where I'm trying to be. Like this.
Really? How long you been here?
So it was 2 years. This past September. Okay. I moved. It was September 3rd, 2021, and it was my 2-year anniversary.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
I like you. So y'all still going strong? You in Atlanta?
Look, I said it. I'm not going back home. This is home, and Atlanta is home now.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it too. It's a much shorter time than you, and I always make a joke like we're still dating in Atlanta.
right.
I really like it. It's one of my favorite cities I've lived in so far.
People be hating, but
that's anywhere,
right?
You know,
you gonna have problems in any city.
Yeah,
ain't no perfect cities.
Yeah, but Atlanta has so much to offer, and it's always something to do. And I feel welcomed here. Like I moved to other cities and there was stuff to do and all that and opportunities, but I didn't feel as welcomed. I don't know if that's in my mind or what, But here I feel like immediately embraced.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. Like, I like that feeling. It's not like, let me in. Somebody like, let me in. It doesn't feel that way. So that's what I like about it. And I appreciate that. So becoming a dancer, what have been the challenges along the way that you had to push through?
One thing that's consistently like been a challenge that I'm like now in my grown age realizing is just, I guess, like the politics of like the dance world, and really politics. Anything, anywhere you go is gonna be politics, whether it's a job or entertainment industry, whatever it is, it's gonna be politics. So I guess for me, understanding that and accepting that, like knowing that there's nothing I can do about it, you just gotta roll with the punches and stay true to who you are, you know. Yeah, that was probably like my biggest challenge, because I mean, like even in college, like at the dance program, there was politics, and you know, coming into the industry, there's a whole system set of rules that you just gotta figure out, and you know, so because I'm like, can I just come and dance? Can I just come and like do what I'm good at and go home? But like, it's way more in depth than that, and that's to me that's the most challenging aspect, I think.
How do you learn them? So like, because there's no, okay, you can take classes for dancing, you can take classes for the business in the industry and all that, right? But like, how do you learn the politics of it? You just watching?
You just watching, talking to people, the right people, talking to the right people. And yeah, like you're just like paying attention, like you really gotta, you know, keep game, like whenever you're in the room, like you just gotta be aware. It's like, you know, I luckily have had mentors and people to, you know, come in like and tell me like, this is what you do, this is how you do it, but everybody's not blessed with that opportunity. So yeah, you still have to like really just, you know, watch and pay attention to see what, you know, how things move, how things operate when you're at certain studios, see how this studio operates from when you taking class with others, you know, little things like that. And it can be a lot, but like I said, I'm thankful I have people to help me and pour into me. So
yeah, how'd you find your mentors?
Just by being in the scene, going to class and talking to people. For me, it was like it was for who when I moved down here, I was like concerned with like whose career could say, not necessarily copycat or like model. Yeah, like whose career could I model? Like who's somebody here that I feel like I could, you know, not necessarily a crew or a clique I could find, but like you said, like a career I could model myself. I could look at their career and be like, yes, I want a career similar to that. So, you know, finding those people, taking classes, like DMing them, like, hey, like, can we talk? Can we meet up for lunch? And like telling these people your goals, you know, like, because if people like that, people like, you know, when you make effort and, you know, you reach out and, you know, it lets them know like you're serious, like you're investing in yourself, like this is something you want. So yeah, it literally was just me like putting myself out there, looking for whose career I felt like could align with, who do I feel like could be helpful to me, and just going to them and like talking to them, because a closed mouth's not gonna get fed. So you gotta.
That's a good point.
Put yourself out there, which is hard for me to do because I'm very like private, like to myself, like So putting myself in that space was just like, ugh. But you gotta do it. You gotta do it.
When you were talking, I was just thinking about that. Like, do you get nervous? Like, even asking people to come on the show, I still get nervous.
No, girl.
But you.
Oh my God! I'll just be like, I really don't want to ask him. I mean, palms sweating. Like, like I don't want to. Like, how do I ask?
Right.
Like,
all that contemplating and like, so how do you push through that?
I mean,
because I'm in the same boat. I feel the same way when I reach out to someone, and I feel like I have to think about if they say no, which is their right. How am I emotionally prepared for this rejection?
Because that's what you gotta remember. The worst they can say is no. So it's like we shouldn't be like all scared, but it's like.
But you reality. Put yourself out there, and I feel stupid. They're like, she slid in my DMs asking me to be on her little show. Like, I'm sorry.
That's what you be thinking.
I'm sorry, I misread the room.
Right, especially like if you new down here, and it's like, I don't want to ask them. Like, who's this new person? Like,
Right.
But it's the only way, like, in this, not even just dance, like, entertainment industry in general, like, it's all about relationship. It's really not about how talented or how good you are or good you think you are. It's about who you know and who knows you. Because if you can be the best dancer in the world, but if the right people don't know you, you won't be booked. You won't be on the job. So it's really you have to put yourself out there and talk to people.
So out of school, what did you do? Like, what was your because you ended up going to school for dancing. What was your next step after you graduated?
The goal was to move straight to Atlanta after college, because that's when I was in college and I was like, okay, yeah, I want to dance to be my career. I wanted to, like, I want to take this serious. Like, this is what I want to do in my life. The only places I knew to go to were to New York or LA, and I knew off the bat New York was not, like, I could not afford to live in New York. So I was like, it's got to be LA. Like, not that's much cheaper, but
it's a little bit.
A little bit cheaper.
I just bang for your buck.
Look,
because I lived out there. It's a little. The places are a little bit bigger.
Yeah. And then, like, New York, smaller but more money. So I was like, yeah, New York.
And it's freezing. Yeah.
Right, and I didn't want to be back in the cold. Like, I'm like, okay, so New York, it's not gonna be a possibility. I'm gonna go to LA, but then, like, over the years, like, Atlanta just started to pop up and come up out of nowhere, and I didn't like, I knew there was a dance community here, but I didn't know it was like an industry here until I started doing, like, some further research, and I was like, oh, well, what about Atlanta? And,
so when you graduated, how many years was it until you moved here?
So it was 2.5 years, because it's like I said, when I realized that's where I wanted to go, and I said LA, but I was like, nah, I found out about Atlanta, go to Atlanta. So after, I remember my senior year of college, my last semester of college, I was like filling out all these, I was updating my resume, sending it out to all these, like, different studios and different people in Atlanta, because I'm just like, I know for sure, like, somebody's gonna get me back, like, I'm a college graduate, like, somebody gonna see me and, like, want to pour into me, and I ain't getting not one email back, like, not one.
I know the feeling. Not with dance, but with life.
I mean, you be so excited because you just know. You just like,
especially when you hit a milestone, like you graduate. Right, so you're like, I'm about to pop, and then you're like, simmer down, because you're not. You
Life will humble your little self really quickly, and I definitely got humbled very quickly.
So what did you do?
So I had to, move back to Indy for a little bit, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay here a year. I'm gonna apply to, like, grad school in Atlanta, and that'll get me down there. Tried that didn't work. So I'm like, okay, I'm stuck in Indy another year. Then COVID happened, and I was like, oh my God, like, but I'm not. Let me phrase. I was gonna say I'm glad COVID happened. I'm not glad COVID happened, but I remember, like, when COVID happened, like, I was like, you know what? I just told myself, I don't know when this is gonna be over or when this is gonna, like, stop. But when it stops, like, I was like, I just have to go. Like, if I'm down there homeless by myself, like, living in a car, whatever, like, I have to go down there. Like, I have to do it. So, like, after COVID, me and my friend Devin, who was also a dancer, we said, August 2021, we gotta be in Atlanta. We gotta move. And because I was like miserable at this time. Like, I was working a job I hated. I was, like, teaching dance at a high school, and I absolutely hated it. I was, like, depressed. Like,
I want to say no, because I relate a lot to that. But did I cut you off?
No, you did, because you had something. I'm like,
no, because I wanted to ask you. Just because you like something doesn't mean you like teaching it. Is that what happened?
Yeah. Well, I like teaching dance, but the school I was in, the students, they didn't care. They didn't.
Okay. And it's something you're passionate about.
Right. So that's hard for me, because it's like, I'm, like, trying to come up, staying up late, trying to come up with, a class plan and things. And, I'm getting excited because this is, dance something's happening. Like, I'm going to teach them this, this, and this. And then it's like, we can't even make it through the warm-up. Like, a warm-up that's supposed to be 5 minutes has now turned into, like, 20 minutes because this person don't want to do it, or this person's too tired, or this person wants to go sit on their computer and work for another class, and I'm just like, and I didn't really feel like I had like support from the school either, like coming in and helping me. So I was
when you love something, it's really hard to be around people who don't love it, and y'all both supposed to be doing it, like, because it's like y'all, we're not on the same page.
Right.
You're ready when you. I think too when you love something. Not saying like it make not superhuman, but you get in this space where you're locked in.
Right.
You're
in the zone.
Yeah. And the people around you like, I'm too tired. Like, what? You're too tired. You're like, too tired. What?
Cause like the thing is like it wasn't like they had to be like they chose to take dance. So I'm thinking I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be around like kids that want to do this for real. But
and it was just a whole nother ball game. No, I get that.
It was babysitting, and I was that year I was like, no, I can't do this no more. I got to get out.
So when you went back home for that year, I heard a few things. It was like but you were like, I'm still laser focused on dancing. That's why you took the job and that, and then also you were willing to risk anything to make it happen almost. Yeah. And then also you had a friend who also was doing it. So I think like that going back like the cliche of like who you hang around and like really matters, because I'm sure Devin, shout out to Devin, shout out to Devin. Like,
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her.
You have that person who's also going after, so it keeps the I don't know if this will happen for you, but it keeps it alive.
No, definitely.
Like you without getting too discouraged, right? And then you got like a little depressed because that job you hated. I think we've all been there, had a job we hated, and it's like that pushed you even. Did that push you even more to get out?
Definitely. That made me be like, because it was COVID, so like half of the semester we were online, and that's what like really started. Like that was the worst. Like the online classes were the worst. Like so that's what started okay, I gotta do this. Like I gotta get out. I gotta. And I mean, I thought it was gonna get, I was like, well, second semester, we back in class, like maybe it'll be a little better, maybe, since I'm there physically, like the energy will be, there, and it just wasn't. So I just was like, like this, I gotta go. I gotta like follow my dreams, Even that's the corny thing to say, but like it's so true. Like,
and so many people don't. So the cliche is a cliche for a reason, right? But was it Devin setting the date? Like he was like September 2021.
Yeah.
What got you out of there?
I think just the year of 2020 specific, because even if me and Devin didn't talk about it, even if we didn't, like agree to it, I was still determined. But I think we took like a master class or something, and we would just stayed after like in the parking lot talking, and she was just like, like I'm serious, like I'm trying to move, I'm trying to get out, like I really want to like go for it. And I was like, like girl, like I've been trying to go for it, so like let's do it, like let's figure it out, and we figured it out.
Yeah, I'm so glad that y'all did that and you had that person to talk to. And I'm like, for the audience too, is stressing like who you hang around. Like it really does matter. Like even if Devin hadn't come with you, you still keeping it alive by talking about it.
Right.
And so you still did it. Not to keep talking about LA, but when I moved to LA, I had like 3 or 4 different people I was gonna move to LA with. I ended up moving by myself.
Yeah, that's how it be.
But you focus on it, you know what I mean? And you make it, you get out and do it because it's what you want to do.
Right.
Did you have a plan for Atlanta, like laid out, or you just got in the car?
I mean,
you just hopped.
well, luckily I had a work from home job, so that's really what like saved my ass.
That's what happened to me too. Okay.
Man, thank you, remote work.
Listen, shout out to remote work.
Shout out, cause so luckily like I didn't have to like necessarily come up with a plan as far as like living, because I had a job already. As far as like with the industry thing, the goal was to just take as much class as I can and be seen, and eventually like that would like land me a job. But like I learned, you gotta do way more than just going to class. Like
what else do you have to do?
I mean, like we talked about earlier, like you gotta talk to people. You have to mentorships. You gotta take these people's mentorships. Like you have to be seen. You have to build a relationship with these people you want to work for, whether that be a choreographer you want to work for, whether that be or that's you building relationships with dancers that work for that choreographer, because that's another way you can get jobs, getting recommendations. Dancers recommend their friends and things all the time. So I mean, yeah, it's really like building a relationship, like going to class and going to mentorships and training and all that is very important. Like I would never say don't do that because I'm still doing all those things.
Okay.
But that itself is not enough. You got to train and you got to do the extra work, like emailing, DMing people, like talking to people, you know, finding whatever way you can to build that relationship because that's what's gonna. When they're like, okay, we need dancers for this award show, and they need to think about, you know, who they gonna book. Like, you need to be on their mind so that when it's time to book, like they're thinking about you. So that's why a relationship is key. Like you gotta build relationships. You gotta put yourself out there and talk. Really, that's really all it is.
Okay. Do dancers have agents?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
and
that's
managers. Like, is that a thing for dancers too?
Some do, if you got it like that. But most, you either have an agent or you're independent. And then there's like I could go. That's a whole other conversation between independent and agent. But yeah, that's most do. Yeah, you either have an agent or you're independent, and that means you find your work yourself.
Right. If you're independent.
Mm-hmm.
If you're independent.
Yes.
Okay. I wonder how similar it is to the acting world. I don't know anything about the dancing world, but I know the acting world, you know. In Atlanta, I've been hearing like a lot of people booking a lot of things without an agent. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't hear that as much like in LA, but I don't know. I'm not that big in it.
I think it's more so because like LA, like that's Hollywood, like that's old money. Whereas like Atlanta, I feel like the entertainment industry is still newer here, and it's still like newer, still fresh. So I think we kind of can get away like down here in Atlanta versus LA with like, you know, not doing things without agents and things because it's still like I feel like it's still being molded, the entertainment industry here, so we can finagle a little differently. But I think that's why that is. I could be wrong.
Right. No. I mean, I don't know either, but I agree. I mean, that makes sense. That would be my answer too. All right, tell me how you got to these big names.
Big names. But yeah, I mean, relationships.
Okay.
Like with so my first big break was with Shaq. That was the first like big job where I was like around celebrities. I was on set. Like,
wait, how long were you here before you Atlanta to meet in Shaq? How long was it?
So I have been in Atlanta like a year and like some months when I had booked Shaq. But even when I booked Shaq, it still wasn't like I was like, oh my God, I booked like, oh my, like yes, it's happening. But it wasn't like I was still working a 9 to 5. It was only like for a show. It was for a New Year's show. It was a Shaqtacular New Year's Eve. It was like a New Year's show, but for like the metaverse. So it wasn't like it was something like, oh, I'm gonna get set up for life on this job or anything like that. Like I was still working a 9 to 5. I had to take off work and do all of that. So it wasn't like, so I was excited, but it was still like, you know, we still got work to do. But I mean, it was a fun job. Like we didn't really have to dance that much at all. Like,
wait, how long I have so many. Did you have to audition for it?
No, and what's crazy with that story is I saw the choreographer who was doing it. They needed some guys, but in this, I don't always like read things thoroughly. I kind of like skim through things, but like in this case, it worked in my favor because the post said they were looking for white or Asian males, but I just saw males and I was like, okay, well let me submit myself, and then a few hours later I got the call like I could come in, but like looking back at the post, I was like, oh, like I didn't follow instructions because I was not what they were looking for.
Yeah, that's crazy. It sounds like a lot of your life is like meant to happen.
Man,
because if you had read that part, would you have been like, would you still have submitted?
Maybe not.
No? Okay.
I mean, sometimes I'm like, if I don't fit the description, I'll still do it. But like something like that, like if they're looking specifically for like Asian or Caucasian male, I probably would have been like,
I'm too far. Yeah. How long is the audition process as far as like, okay, if you're going in for audition on a, how long is the audition day?
So when you're auditioning for a job, depending on what it is, pretty much all auditions have callbacks for the most part. Maybe some might be, real quick, like we just gonna pick whoever like right now. But most auditions, like you come in, they teach it to you, they teach you step, they split you up, you do it, and if they like you, like they'll bring you to the callbacks, and sometimes that'll be like a few hours later, sometimes that might be like 2 days later, whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, you audition, like you get a callback, you go to the callback, they teach you a new step, you learn it. That's when they'll like make the decision after like who they would want, and they can make that decision in the room with everybody, or it can be like, we'll call you and let you know. But
yeah,
luckily for Shaq, I didn't have to audition. I was like a direct booking. Pretty much all the three you named, I didn't have to audition at all for them.
wow.
With Ciara, like literally, like they needed some kappas for her video, because it was like a wedding scene, and they wanted like some kappas in their stroller. So they were like looking like around, like who are some kappas? We need some kappas. Like literally the day before the shoot, like. Literally, I found out about that job the day before. Like, I was at the mall and got a call about it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, okay, well, let me. Like, what's funny is, so the struggle is real, y'all. The struggle is real. But I was on the way to the mall, and I had been trying to like practice like not using up all my data, so I had turned like everything in my phone off. The struggle's real. The struggle's real. Look, so I was like on the way to the mall. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna be at this mall. Like, I ain't about to, like be on my phone like that. I'm gonna be focused on, getting what I came here for. So, getting the mall, getting data's turned off. I'm not getting no messages or anything, but I can still get calls to my phone. So my homie, who's a dancer, and he's a Kappa too, he's like calling me. He's like, yo, like, you get the email, like, I see your name out here and stuff. And I'm like, what you talking about? He's like, you didn't get the email, like, for the music video? I'm like, what music video? He's like, for Ciara. And I'm like, what? And he's like, your name's on here. So then that's when I'm like, hold on. I literally, the second I turn on my data, I'm getting messages and calls like, hey, you need to answer your phone, like, I have an opportunity for you, like all these messages. And I'm just like it was so crazy. But I mean, I went in there next day, did the video, and it was,
Do you keep outfits and stuff for auditions ready? I know you said you didn't have to audition for those, but you still audition sometimes.
Oh yeah, I still audition.
So do you keep outfits ready?
So like I have something in my head of like, because depending on the audition, they might want you to come dressed a certain way. So if it's like a movie where like it's like 1920s and y'all gonna be in a juke joint dance, and they gonna want you to come dressed like you're in the 1920s. So it's like, it just depends on the audition, like whatever they ask you to wear. Traditionally, like, it's all black. You always wear all black.
Okay.
Or, like, something that's gonna make you stand out. Like, if all else fails, I'm always gonna wear all black. But yeah, it just depends on what the audition.
And do you find it challenging? I shouldn't pose the question like that, but what do you think about the unpredictability of the industry that you've chosen for yourself?
Ooh, now that's actually a perfect question. You got to know that going in. Like, you have to know going in what industry you're going into. Like, being an artist is not pretty. Like, you're not always going to have a ton of money. It may be a while before you get that first big check. You might have to be working a bunch of odd jobs. So, I mean, like, I think going in knowing what you're getting yourself into, because, I mean, you're not going to fully know until you actually do it. But
Right.
I mean, we all, like, how many more TV shows and movies do they tell us? Like, the industry is hard. Like, we've seen all the movies and TV shows, like, the entertainment industry, this is no joke. Like, know what you are getting yourself into. Like, so yeah, that's what I would say, like, for all the uncertainty. Like, know that that's something you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah. And like, and sometimes I think about it from the aspect of, I'm a planner, right? I don't know if it's called a type A, but so even to say all the money was coming in, the money's good, you still can't plan your life because you don't know what.
Right.
Like somebody might say, oh, do you want to go on a trip in February? I don't know.
Exactly.
Even if you have the money, I might get a gig. I might get
right.
So like even like I'm saying, you can still be balling and still you still don't. So like when they say cut, it's done. You unemployed technically.
Right.
And even if they say you got $1 million from that gig, you still want to get your next gig. You don't. So and you don't know when it's coming.
Right.
So that to me is one of the things I think about a lot. If you're the type of person who likes to plan, it takes a lot of that away. Right?
It does, like, yeah, you do gotta let that. You gotta let that part of you go.
You gotta flow.
You just gotta. You do no. Literally, you just gotta flow. Cause like you said, like you might be like planning to go on a trip with your girl somewhere, but then like you getting a call from one of your friends. Hey, there's this big audition tomorrow, and was you gonna stay in Miami with the girls, or you gonna get that plane ticket and fly down? Like, you know, so yeah, you do just kind of gotta flow with it, like,
and make those sacrifices.
Exactly.
I remember Taraji P. Henson. I heard her in an interview, and she was like, she was shooting Benjamin Button. No, is that right? The name Benjamin Button.
Yep.
And she said her cousin passed away, and she couldn't. It was one of her closest cousins, and she said she couldn't go to the funeral because she was on the set of Benjamin Button. It's like. It's not a regular job where you could be like, I ain't coming in on Tuesday.
Right,
it's like, excuse me, this is a millions and millions of dollar budget.
Exactly.
If you don't come in, you mess up everybody's day, everybody's livelihood. Like, it's a lot of. I'm not trying to make it sound negative, but I want to expose that there's a duality, not duality, but like a yin and yang, or
right. Like it's the big picture.
Thank you. Painting the whole picture of what you do have to sacrifice.
Cause it's not like you said, like it's not like, oh, I'm leaving, like, you know, like I can just come back. Like, no, like this is like $1 million movie that like people are investing in. Like you kind of
and their livelihoods are dependent on too.
Exactly.
You affect everybody's livelihood when you do that. And for dancing, like, okay, so Ciara was that, or have you done music videos too, right?
Yeah.
So what are those set days like?
So for a music video, that's pretty much like you on set all day. Like they gonna get it done that day, however long they need you to stay. Like you gonna be there. If they do need to like push it to the next day, like then they will. But yeah, a music video, they trying to get everything done like that day. Whereas like I guess like a TV show or movie, like it's different because it's way longer. Like you got weeks or a month or however long it may take to finish. But like video, like music video, like they trying to get all that done that day. So you, even if you in one scene, like prepare to be there all day.
All day. All right, let me switch gears and make it the positive side. So we talk about the cons. You didn't do that. That was my fault. Sorry, y'all. But I do like to think, because when I was a little young Selena and I was like thinking about fantasizing about acting and fantasizing about being in the industry, and then I started pursuing it on a very small scale, I said, oh shit, this is not what I was fantasizing.
Not at all.
Like, I think I love acting. I love being creative, right? As I'm sure you love being creative, and I'm not trying to answer the question for you, but that's such a small part of it. Like what I learned, like if you're I'm not even in the industry, but like just thinking about it, pursuing it a little bit, like I didn't realize how little acting I would be doing, as opposed to like like going to auditions or trying to meet people or submitting.
It's like
reading about the business side.
The acting is like the easy part. Like that's what I said. Like the dance is the easy part. It's the other stuff.
And that takes up way more of your time. That's most of it.
That's the most of your time.
Like being on set and stuff. Like I just did a thing. I was an extra yesterday. I told you I was just an extra. There ain't no lines. I was nobody. Right. And I was probably in a scene that was like, you know, like 5 minutes or something. Like we were shooting for 5 minutes. So in the actual thing, that's only going to be a couple seconds or whatever. Right. But I was there for like 9-10 hours, and I just remember I was like, because I haven't acted or then I've been on set in like years, and I was like, this is what I don't miss. Like, and then when we got to the acting part, I was like, oh, I missed this part. But that was literally like 5 minutes of the 9-10 hours. I was like, what is going on?
You just gotta look at it as I'm here for a check and I'm going home. Like,
so what makes you still? And I don't mean it, I'm not trying to be negative, but it is something to consider. And the way the industry is set up, I don't think it's ideal for everybody, because sitting around for 10, 12 hours is craziness. and I'm trying to make friends with stuff, so I'm not so bored. Like, I was like, when are y'all
And
talking
I
to
mean,
me?
even like working for artists, like on tour, like, you know, each artist is different. Some artists, you know, like have their crew come and like band and dancers sound check. Okay, y'all can come after sound check. You know, you can go off and do whatever, come back in time for the show. But in other camps, like you there all day. Like,
They don't let you leave.
not at all. Like that's what I've experienced. Like, you know, when I was on tour, you know, Keith Sweat on the Legacy tour, New Edition, like that's kind of like how it was. Like we at Soundcheck, you there all day. Like there is no leaving. You know, there's no like go out and mingle. But that's just that camp. You know, every artist, every like camp and industry is different. But like for me, that's like what I've experienced. Like we there.
Yeah.
Bring your pillow and your blanket.
Wow.
Hopefully it's a couch in the dressing room you can sleep on. Yeah.
So what makes you because you didn't know that side of the industry when you got in it, right? So like now this in it, what makes you feel like, okay, that's like I'm cool with that because I'm doing what I love. But what makes you keep going?
I mean, yeah, like literally what you just said is like, you know, I'm doing what I love to do. Like I can sacrifice just this one day of me being at a venue forever than me. I would rather have that than me like being on my 9 to 5 and complaining every day, like being so sad, having a class. So, you know, it's like you gotta pick your battle. You know?
That's so pick your poison.
you got to.
That's so important that you said that though, because like sometimes I lose sight. Like you're trying to figure things out and you like lose sight of why you're doing it. I think that can happen. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh, definitely. Because it's like as you know, like it's so much you gotta learn and even though like they say like, you know, oh, you know, take your time, you know, it's no rush, you know, you gotta be patient, which you do, you gotta be patient. But for me, I was like, no, like I want to get started now. Like I feel like I'm good enough now. Like I can, and I definitely have to be humbled multiple times to this day, and I still get humbled. Like I'm not going in class, killing in every class. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, we all got work to do. But like at that, like coming in, it was just like, no, like I want this, like I want it now. And I guess like that was the universe. Like, okay, you want it, so like we finna give it to you. And it was just like all this information just hitting you left and right that you gotta take in.
Yeah.
That can be like overwhelming, and that's when it's like you gotta like remind yourself like, okay, like this is what I want to do, so I just gotta roll with it, you know.
Yeah. How do you know you're on the right path?
How do you know you're on the right path? For me, I would say look at your progress. Look at as far as like goals you have set for yourself, no matter how big or little. Like, you know, are you reaching some of those goals? I'm not saying like, you know, just give up if you're not hitting all the goals on your list, but you know, are you've been here 2 years or whatever? Do you feel like you've grown as a dancer? Do you feel like you've gotten better as an actor? Do you feel like you've made more connections? Have you, and I don't necessarily want to say like, have you booked anything, because I don't want it to, like, just because you don't necessarily book something doesn't mean you're not growing. That doesn't mean you're not getting better. That just means, you know, it might not, the opportunity wasn't available to you. So I don't necessarily want to say like, are you booking now? But like, you know, just like little things like that. Like, you know, am I in communication with more people now? Do I feel stronger when I go to class? And, you know, things like that. So that's what I would say. You just focus on your progress, pay attention to your progress. And that goal you wrote down a year, 2 years ago, like, look at it again and see where you are with it now, you know? So
yeah. Constantly kind of taking inventory.
Definitely, because it's you gotta count the little wins. You have to count the little wins, because if you just waiting for the big wins, you'll feel like they're never there. So you gotta be like, hey, I got a little win today. So
yeah, I think it's super important. And you know, I even went so far as to say, because it is about perspective, because you look at the big picture, and if you don't look at all the little things, you will. For me, I would lose sight, and that's kind of what some of the reason for the show is like, think about things from a different perspective. And so I even went so far as to say, well, I made my goals, but I'm going to make up some stuff, because I heard somebody on a podcast say, just put some stuff on your goal list that you know you can accomplish, just so you can say you got to win. So your brain is like, I could win something, I could do something, and I used my steps. On my thing, I was like, on my phone, I was like, I'm gonna get X amount of steps for every day for this month, and I did. So I was like, but it took effort. It wasn't like just, I'm gonna get 1,000 steps a day. It was a little out of what I was normally doing. But I just say that to say, to your point, get some little wins down there if you got to. You got to find a way, because you don't want to keep your mind. I think I said this on the show before, but you're like, your mind has a domino effect kind of thing. So like when you lose and you keep taking L's, you start expecting L's, and I think it goes the same way with wins. Like, you get a few wins, you start feeling like, okay, I can do. I'm making
that confidence.
Yeah, and I'm making progress or traction, whatever. And so, like I said, if you gotta not fake it, but put some wins on there. You can accomplish to get your mind in that frame.
Whatever your win is for you. If that's like, I'm gonna wake up and make my bed every morning, to you that may be a big deal. So
yeah, if that's something you don't do, and that's something you have to go outside. I think it's taking you outside of what you normally do and stuff. So if you don't normally make your bed, make your bed.
And if you do, like kind of like what you were saying, like you do gotta focus on the little things, the little wins, because if you only focusing on big wins, like you're not gonna get a big win every day. You're not gonna get a big win every week. Like that ain't.
And what I've been thinking about a lot too. Even when you get the big win, you have to maintain that big win.
Exactly.
You gotta rise up to that. So say tomorrow, I don't know what the biggest win in dancing would be, because I'm thinking, I think Beyonce.
No, we love her.
So it'd be like, but whatever the biggest one, say Beyonce herself called. I know that's not how it works, but Beyonce call you and say, I want you to come on tour next year or whatever. The work just starts there.
Right.
Like you got the big win when she called you. But then you have to go practice, rehearse.
Right, because if she don't like you, she'll be like, okay, and we'll find. You feel me? Like you will be replaced like that, or like you don't got dance. Like you can win some money or something, and then the minute you win that money, this bill got to be paid, or so your car, you get into a car accident. So like that's so true. Just because you get the big win, that doesn't mean like. It's all fine and dandy. Right.
You have to maintain it. I like that quote of like, be careful what you wish for and be ready for it when it comes. Because it's like, you get the thing. Now you got to take care of the thing.
Right. You got to take care of it. You got to make sure you keep it.
Yeah. And then the one big win gets you to the next big win. But then like I said all that to say to your point of like, you don't want big win after big win. Because you can't maintain big win on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Like, you get overwhelmed.
and you will lose all of the big wins.
Exactly.
It's so true. I had a lot of opportunities come at once. And they weren't big opportunities, but it was just a lot of opportunities come at one time that I wanted to do. And I said yes to all of them and got overextended very quickly. Yeah. Like, I was like, I made a boo-boo here. I made a mistake.
Right. Look, can't extend yourself too far.
Seriously.
Now.
So I think that's too of thinking of like, this is a little bit off of what you said, but like also thinking about what's the biggest win to you, or what's the most important thing to you, so you can be discerning and like prioritize what's the most important. And that lesson taught me that. I was like, okay, Selena, what's the most important thing? Because you done said yes to everything. You gotta cancel some stuff. Like you can't. Who you gonna say no to now? Exactly. And it's worse at saying no after. Should have said no from the beginning.
Right.
So anyway, that was a tangent.
No, that's so true. That's so true.
It's been a week. It's Monday.
Right.
Okay.
Weekend.
Recording on a Monday. It's been a time. Because I want to ask you about happiness, because this is called You Plus Happy. But before we get to that really quickly, so I know you said you did go on a tour and it did become stressful. What was that? What was that like, and how did you handle it?
Well, it was stressful. It was my first tour, and this wasn't like like a small city tour. Like this was a major city tour, and hitting every city in the country, major country. So. Because this was my first one and it was new to me, everything was just like hitting me. Like when things go wrong, like something went wrong with getting the hotel rooms, and now you might have to share rooms with somebody, or the bus broke down and we got it on the highway. We got to get all Not saying that happened to me specifically, but. These are just examples of things that so it could be something new every day. Everything could be changing, and you just gotta be You just gotta be there. You just gotta be ready for it.
Okay.
So for me, it was just the changes, like unexpected changes happening, like every other day. It was just like okay, like I was prepared to do this, but now I'm being told to do something else. So like that was very hard. But that again, that's pick your poison. Would you rather go back to that 9 to 5, or you gonna you be like, okay, I gotta figure this out. I know, it could be something unexpected. It's happening every day, so I just need to be prepared for it. I need to be ready for it, because that 9 to 5 is waiting for you back home. Yeah. So either that or this. And
yeah.
I
think it's what we said earlier. You gotta be flexible. That's probably the best way to get through it.
Gotta be.
Okay.
Pick your battles. Pick your poison. Choose what you want to put up with and what you don't. Which that may look different for me than to somebody else. But yeah, you gotta figure out what you're okay with and what you will allow. As your own individual person.
No. Okay, so the show, like I said, the show's called You Plus Happy. When are you the happiest? The happiest is such a trite word, but
vague question. No, but I'm happiest whenever I'm happy whenever I'm doing something artistic, or I'm watching somebody else do something artistic.
Okay.
Like whether that be them singing or dancing or painting a picture or whatever, like seeing somebody in their elements and something like artistically like that.
Yes.
Yeah, like that made me happy. Like
seeing somebody else in their elements.
Right.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
Like even I'm not a singer, but like if I see somebody that's like going off, I'm like, yeah, like like that made me feel good. Like it don't have to be dance, but something artistic.
Right. What else do you do artistically?
You
don't have to tell me.
No, I mean, I like to write a little bit. I'm really into like fashion and things, so like I be like saving little videos on Instagram, trying to like come up with like what do they call like a lookbook and like a style book, but like that's just like fun, like me.
Right.
Extracurricular, nothing serious. Like I love everything artistic and creative. Like
yeah. What do you write?
Just like stories. Cause I'm a big comic book head. Like I love comic books.
Okay.
So like little things like that, just for fun. Just,
Yeah.
Artistic expression.
Expressing ourselves.
Right.
I felt like that as an artist. Like sometimes it manifests itself differently depending on the moment or the day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, I don't think I've ever met an artistic person who only has one avenue of expression.
Right.
So I knew you did something else. And another big part of the show is talking about success and challenging success, like what the ideas of success are.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your definition of success?
My definition of success. Ooh, let me think about it before I say it. I would say my definition of success is, for me, setting a goal and accomplishing it. Like to me,
that's success.
And I've, done some of that. And that's like also what I wanted to say, like, yes, I've gotten to reach some of my goals and live out some of my dreams, but like I'm still like it very much in the beginning phase. Like I'm not even like halfway where I'm trying to be, where I want to be, like I'm still very, very like climbing up the fence, like trying to get on the other side. So I still don't feel like I'm on that other side. Like I feel like I said, I'm climbing up the fence, like I'm almost to the top, like looking over, but I'm not on the other side yet. So and like you said, like with success, like I think a lot of people need to understand too, like yes, you can reach your goals and you can still like have that success, but that doesn't mean you're not gonna struggle no more. Okay, like you can book that tour with that high profile artist and still be struggling to pay bills, still be struggling to pay your rent, whatever. Like still gotta work a little odd job, and then you gotta like explain to them like you're a dancer, so and I'm touring with an artist, so I might have to like take off this week, like and all of that. So success don't mean everything is perfect.
Right.
It just means I accomplished that goal. I did something I said I was gonna do. But that don't mean like everything is daisies and roses.
I love that you said that. And I think you're probably the first person who said that. Okay, there were some technical difficulties and recording stopped. So I'm going to close out the show here. I want to thank Jordan for coming on the show again. You can find out more about Jordan on Instagram at Bryant_masterpiece. And that will be in the show notes. Thank you for listening. Remember to like, comment, and share this episode. Leave a review. I really appreciate the feedback. And if you don't want to do anything else, please subscribe on YouTube. That's the most helpful thing the audience can do. So with that, I will see you next week. And remember, we'll show you our definition of success if you show us yours.